Hi, welcome back to E3 2017 Square Enix Presents. I'm Will Powers, and I'm here talking about a cosplay guide for Agents of Mayhem. Joined today by two very, very special guests, friends of mine, the Angelica Dawn
Hello.
and Wes IRL, Wes Johnson.
Hey. Hi, everybody.
So if you're not familiar with them, obviously their social credentials are below. They're lovely, lovely people and avid members of the cosplay community.
Indeed we are.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love it.
So we have it on today because Agents of Mayhem is a really cool game that showcases 12 different agents with varying playstyles, varying personalities, and really different costumes. And we want to showcase a lot of the character design and how you guys would go about if you were going to cosplay them. So as you can see on the screen behind me right now, this is just kind of a lineup of the 12 different agents coming from different backgrounds, different nationalities. They're all coming from different approaches before they joined Mayhem as an organization. But the first one we're going to dive into, one of my personal favorites. This is Braddock. She's an ex-U.S. Marine, very strong military background. Obviously, she has a railgun that she carries with her, and smokes a cigar. So, what stands out to you about her?
You want to start off?
Actually, like the cigar was the first thing that I was like, from cosplay experience and stuff, that I'm like, oh, like you definitely want to like tape the end of your cigar because otherwise it gets super, super soggy. And by the end of the day, there's like just cigar pieces falling in your mouth and you're like trying to pose with it. So like tape the end of it. You can use clear tape, you can use brown tape, you can paint it, but seal it off in some way, shape, or form. So that way you're not having that issue. And I know that's such like a silly thing, but it's like things that you learn from cosplaying. So
That wouldn't have been something I thought of. I've never done a character with a cigar before,
Yeah.
so that's good to know for the future. Personally, first off, when I'm seeing the screen, I'm looking right at the gun. Like I'm like, ooh, this would be such a fun build. Like I'm seeing like it's got an M249 saw handle on top of it, so you can actually order those pieces online and get it so it looks super realistic. And then you've got the belt-fed machine gun here. You can actually order those machine gun belts and have like super realistic looking. And then you've got the box at the bottom, and you can paint that, make it look really cool with an actual like 50 caliber the bullet box.
So when you're looking at something like that, so like a big component like the gun, how do you break it down across what you're gonna 3D print or what you're gonna order as like a custom part? What's your thought process there when you look at something like that?
My thought process is, okay, let's just say a gun, for example.
Sure.
What gun would make the best base for this?
Okay.
Like, you can start off, and for this one, it looks like I probably would actually go with, like, a shotgun, like an airsoft shotgun base, because of how the grip is, how the stock is, and it's very customizable. So this one looks more like the Benelli M4 shotgun. So you can, like, put that on there, and then you slowly build pieces onto it. And yeah, 3D printing is a great thing for a lot of these smaller components, like the parts of the stock, the front where the double barrel is, like getting all those sort of pieces together. It's just like a giant puzzle for me, and that's why I love it. Like I love building stuff. It's like, ooh, I can take this piece and put this here and put this here. It probably involves a lot of hot glue, but
Very cool. Let's go on to the next one because we do have a lot of agents to go through. We're going to try to get through a lot of them. But this one, I've mentioned personality a couple times when it comes to the different agents and Agents of Mayhem. It's not you.
Oh. No, Bae, not me. Daisy, yes.
It is.
Yeah.
That's Bae.
It is
That's
Daisy.
Bae, 100%.
So Daisy is one of our personal favorites. The studio
Everyone's favorite.
The studio out in Champaign, Illinois, is about 2 hours outside Chicago. Daisy's from Chicago. She's a brassy Midwest roller derby girl that carries around and totes a minigun and lets everybody know about it. But yeah, there's a lot of fun things between her tattoos and her roller derby, her elbow pads and everything. Where do you start with a character like her?
Just getting super excited first off. Like you're like, oh, I'm so like, and that's what I was thinking. Like if I were to ever do a character, like this would totally be it. Just because like hairstyle, but like first of all, like I think about like tattoos. Like they now have where you can customize your tattoo. So there's like Momentary Ink, there's Tatapic, there's different websites now where you can just upload the photo of what you want.
That's really
and
cool.
yes, you would have a lot of different tattoos. And you can always do like paints and things like that. But what's gonna last the longest, and what's nice to have if you ever want to do this costume multiple times, is something like a temporary tattoo, and that's what these are. So. Yeah, I would definitely go with that first as far as where I wanted to start. And then one of the things that we were talking about for all these characters and for armor and everything is Eva foam.
Yes,
the
lots
best.
and lots of Eva foam.
Yeah, it's the best to work with. So for her armor and everything, it's easiest just to like sculpt instead of doing something crazy for a one-shot costume.
Like a mold or something.
Yeah,
like
like molding and casting. If I was going to do this for multiple costumes, then that's a different story. But Eva foam is so great for like a one-shot costume.
Cool.
So I would do that for armor, like the little pieces and everything. The belt, you can actually just alter like a belt that you already have, or like even like a military, like combat looking belt. And my favorite thing to use for little pieces like that instead of Eva foam, again, you can use that too, but it's called free form air. And it's a clay, and it's something that you mix together, and then it hardens. So you can sculpt something with it, and like when they come together, they like activate. So then you would sculpt that piece, and then you're done. And it's like super easy to work with. It's super lightweight. I love it.
So Wes, I'm looking at you on this one.
Yeah.
How do you go about doing the pinup hair?
The pinup hair. Oh, yeah. So there's a little skull flower that holds everything together. Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, like as you can tell by my hair, it's kind of crazy right now. It's all over the place.
Elegantly disheveled.
See,
Come on.
she's got the buns. It's all nice.
Well, and for her, I would definitely like if you have dark hair, that's great, but for like photos and costumes and for that rockabilly hairstyle, you definitely want to go fuller and bigger. And you can do, because there are different photos where it looks different, where here it looks more like a victory roll, kind of. But there's other parts of the game where it's just like fringe, where it's just bangs. And if you are going to cut a wig for bangs, please put it on yourself first before you cut them, because otherwise you could end up with what's called fetus bangs. And I hate that word, but it's where they're like super, super short. And then it looks silly, and like you have to like start all over again. So that's like one of the things I've definitely messed up on before, but we all learn. Just like a wig where you can either sew it on a wig cap, and that's hard work, or you can just buy a wig and alter it. And that's my biggest thing too, is like for people who are starting out cosplay, you don't have to start from scratch. You can just alter things, and it's so easy.
Yeah, and my suggestion for cosplay is I use a lot of wigs in my costumes. Is use wigs. Don't like go out and dye your hair for every single character, because you will murder your hair.
I remember doing that at the beginning,
Really?
and then I ended up with like a pixie cut. So yeah. But yeah, this costume, I feel like even like the gun is great for a cosplayer, because you can make the little ammo drum a purse, so you can carry your stuff.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
my thought was a mini beer keg.
Okay, well,
like
like
a Heineken keg, like the
yeah,
Heineken
like the little tiny
That's
ones.
true to character.
And then you modify it. But I also was like, well, she also has the thing going, so you could actually tap it and give beer out to people at a convention, and you just be the most popular.
That's
cosplayer
totally in character
the world.
too.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Daisy Wood.
So the next character, we're going through a lot of the females first. There's 6 females, 6 males in the 12 agent lineup. So this is Fortune. She's often confused to be a Brazilian sky pirate, but she's actually a Colombian sky pirate that just happens to live in Brazil. Because it's a little distinction there, but Rio de Janeiro is the capital of piracy in this universe of Agents of Mayhem, and she is a master thief and sky pirate that steals the drone on her back, Glory. So it's Fortune and Glory, a little bit play on words about piracy there. But yeah, she's definitely fun. She's got a sassy look to her. Definitely a really strong character. Really a really focused and determined one. But it's from an untrained eye, it looks like a pretty easy cosplay. But there's a lot of intricacy and details to, especially the drone on her back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what you can really make your own. Like we were talking about altering, and this is the fabric parts that you can just alter. You can, of course, sew it all together. There are great patterns from, like, Joann's and stuff that you can modify and totally make it what you need it to be. But you can also just go to like a military supply store and find most of these items. So what you're really going to be making your own for this costume is Glory, and then also her pistols. So for the pistols, there's little lights in them as well as Glory too. So you can do the version of Glory with the lights or without. But why not do it with the lights? Like totally make it your own.
Exactly.
So the pistol, I feel like you could like get like, I've gotten guns at the grocery store before and totally painted them, and they're hollow inside. So if you need a light, you can totally put a light in there, and you can use LEDs. You can use a glow stick. Like you can use whatever you need, like whatever's going to be easiest for you to add that little like touch of flair in there. And then for Glory as well, you can, again, it's great for cosplayers because that could be your camel pack or your beer pack.
Exactly.
Or it could just be another place where you can store your items, because for cosplay and for girls especially, I feel like that's really important, like to have a place to stow away your stuff.
And most girls' costumes don't even have pockets, so it's really great that she has pockets.
She has pockets and possibly a backpack, like so many things. Yeah, I love it when I feel like sometimes like designers are like, let's screw with the cosplayers and add something super intricate. But this, I'm like, oh, look, they're catering. Like, that's awesome.
Really.
I appreciate it.
So I keep saying these are all like our favorite characters, but this next one
So you lied.
This next one really is one of those that that has struck a chord, especially with the audience of the game. For the reveal trailer, he had the most iconic line. Hardtack's our guy here. He is the ex-Navy, big, happy, jovial guy. All he wants to do is do some killing. And he's real pissed off at Legion, and he has a shotgun and a teleportation harpoon that makes it really easy for him.
He was actually one of my favorite people to play in the demo that I played. He was a ton of fun just teleporting stuff around with his harpoons. He's, for the overall part of his costume, I'd say the most complicated part is probably the gloves, right?
I hate gloves so much. Oh my gosh. That's like my biggest thing is I'm like, if I can avoid doing gloves, definitely. But like the armor on top of them.
Yeah.
And again, you can either go with Eva foam or you can go with the freeform air and then Velcro those pieces on, super glue, whatever you need to do. The first thing I thought of when I saw this is, so I did a governor costume one time and David Morrissey came up and he was like, hey, are you okay? And I was like, David Morrissey's holding my hand. Oh my God. And then he was like, I remember when I would wear the eye patch and like, I would get headaches all the time. And I was just like, yeah, I don't have a headache, but this is great. But that's one thing that I think of now whenever I have eye patches is you want to be able to see through them. So maybe do like a jersey fabric or make it so you can see through them because it will get to you after a while. And that's not fun when you're cosplaying.
So one of the internal jokes about Hardtack, which is the hilarious thing, is in the original CG trailer, his eye patch is over his left eye.
Oh no!
But in the game, his eye patch is over his right eye. So the joke is that he doesn't even need his eye patch; he just really likes it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I want to look cool.
Yeah.
It adds 10% cool if you wear an eye patch.
Yeah.
But Hardtack's a real fun guy because he's not an angry guy. He just likes to do some killing.
Yeah.
But the next guy's the face. He's kind of the face of the organization. He's the face of Mayhem. This is Hollywood. He's not the brightest crayon in the box, but he's
it's so fun to cosplay that guy though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he again, going back to personality. Personality is kind of at the forefront here. The backstory of Hollywood, just in a brief summing up, he's a reality TV star who got into trouble on one of his sets. He accidentally shot and killed somebody.
Oh, wow.
And so he gets sprung out of the trouble by Persephone Brimstone, who's the head of Mayhem, and he becomes their PR guy. So whenever they destroy a city, you can see him on a podium, explaining about how the world is safer now.
Okay, that's great. That's a great backstory. I love that a lot, actually. Because I thought he was an action star, but the fact that he's a reality TV star makes him even better. That's so.
It's a reality TV show. It was called Bound by Law. It was the show he was on.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. Yeah, costume-wise, starting right off, you can get like one of these bulletproof vests that you can paint and add some of the designs to. It's just like an airsoft style bulletproof vest. Pretty simple. The knee pads, you could probably get those and paint them, right?
I would totally do that. Like, and knee pads can be such a pain in the butt because if you make them yourself, they might not be as sturdy. Like, knee pads in general to wear aren't the funnest thing in the world or the most comfortable. So I would probably just use an actual knee pad.
Yeah, and paint it. Like that's the sort of stuff that some of these armor pieces, they're great for cosplayers because it's like any level of cosplayer can do them. It's like obviously like if somebody who's in the cosplay industry for a long time versus someone who's new will have like a better paint job or will do more accents. But it's something these costumes are great for both the professional and unprofessional cosplayers.
Except for he doesn't have pockets, like
that's true.
like
got,
some
no,
of the
he's got
female
a
ones.
utility belt.
Yeah,
he's got
he
a
has
utility
a belt,
Just
but
add a bunch of extra pouches.
He can't wear pockets. He's got to show off his manly man figure and stuff.
that's very true.
But I feel like if you are going to ever do this costume, there's like his little, his stunt double that comes in and like fights for him too. You should get a friend that looks like you, and then like you guys can just do that like pose together and like action shot.
That's great.
How could you not? It's hilarious.
So the next one, she's our fashionista of the group. This is Jules. She's
I totally got that vibe.
She's well, there's alternate costumes in the game. One of them is her fashionista one. It's she has blonde hair, all pink. She looks like Barbie, but she's also a badass. She's an engineer. She's essentially the pet class. PT pet class that drops drones around the battlefield, so you can have additional DPS on targets and take fire away from you as you're kind of going around the battlefield fighting enemies. But yeah, again, like now that you pointed it out, all the females have so much pockets.
Yeah.
Like she carries a purse essentially.
It's great. I saw that and I was like, this is the best one for cosplayers. Like that was like one of my notes on here. Like, and again, it's great for a starting cosplayer who doesn't want to like sew everything. Like you can alter all the things for this costume. Like I think even these shoes, Amy bought me a pair of these shoes and I was like, everything you can just purchase on here. So it's a great costume and a great character too that I think people can just like pick up on, be comfortable and like show off their stuff as a cosplayer.
Can also carry a bunch of tools with you just in case something falls off of your
can,
costume,
yeah.
which is always an issue. There's always something walking around the floor. It's just like, oh, that piece is gone. Where's my hot glue gun?
I will say, since we're talking about tools, don't actually use the real, like, don't bring a real wrench or anything like that. I mean, you can for photo shoots and stuff.
Right.
That's fine. But, like, make it out of craft foam. Sculpt it, something that's going to be lighter on you, as well as, like, you don't have a weapon.
Yeah. The metal detectors at conventions.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
I mean-
everything.
That doesn't really happen often. But, I mean, like, what kind of conventions are you going to?
These kind of conventions.
Yeah.
These conventions.
The ones that are open to the public.
Oh, okay.
So the next one, this is kind of showing off the diverse backgrounds of our agents. The next one's Oni. He is an ex-Yakuza assassin. From the outset, it looks like it's a suit, but the mask.
That's where
We were talking about this one earlier. That is one of the toughest things that you can like possibly do. Like you were saying, like you're gonna have to vacuum form it, like the whole deal.
So I even wrote down like a whole like list of things of like what you have to do. So because I did like the Kylo Ren mask where I made my own completely to my face, and that's what you have to do. So you have to take a cast of your face, and you're gonna do it right here. So you're gonna stick straws up your nose. Also have a friend around just in case you can't breathe. I was smart and did not do that. But, like, I had straws up my nose and everything. And you, like, cast your face. Put Vaseline on your face first, by the way, because otherwise you might have a reaction or tear hair. Yeah. But cast it, and then you're going to go ahead and fill that cast. You're going to do a mold of your face. You're going to sculpt the mask on the mold that you just made of your face. And then you're going to make a mold of what you just sculpt, and then you're going to fill it. Again, my favorite is going to be the what was I talking about? The epoxy that we were talking about. So it's like super, super light. There are other things that you can fill it with as well, but the lighter than air, I think is what it's called. But that was my favorite because it is so light and like easy to work with. But yeah, it's a whole entire thing that you have to go through.
So
It's a
once
huge
you
process.
sculpt it, once you mold it, once you do all that, then you're painting on top of it, right? for
Then
the
you paint
details?
on top of it,
Yeah.
and you might need to sand it because sometimes you got like little air bubbles. Sometimes you need to fill it. Again, you just go through, and that's what's nice about that stuff is you just go through and you mix the 2-to-2 ratio or 1-to-1 ratio, and you put the stuff in, and it's like nice and smooth, and then you just sand it, and then you paint it. For this guy though, so he's got a back piece as well. You would want to go ahead and make that back piece on its own. You don't need to sculpt it. You can, and it might be helpful. But I don't think that you would need to, and you could just Velcro those two pieces together, like right about here.
So for people that might not have tried something like this before, about how many hours does that process take that you're talking about?
I
To
mean,
do it right.
I also was in Phoenix, Arizona, in like 120-degree weather. So your curing time is a lot shorter because you live in an oven.
Yeah.
So I think it took me I think it takes like about 20 hours all in all, maybe, to like work on something like this. But I'm always going back and altering things, fixing things, trying to make it better. So maybe more than that.
Yeah, I was gonna say 50 hours or something.
I'm
but
trying to be
that's
nice
just-
and not discourage
Yeah.
people. That's what I was thinking.
That was
but I
like
was
50
don't do that.
hours, like, because you know what? Especially if it's your first time doing something like
Sure.
this, you're going to screw up. You're going to need to do it again, but that's okay. That is a-okay. Everyone learns by screwing up.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
like, have fun with it.
Yeah, and I loved doing it. Even when I made my mistakes, like I absolutely had a blast doing it.
Cool. So we're gonna go over Persephone. She's wearing a dress. She's not one of the active agents, but she is the head of Mayhem as an organization. She's very saucy, French lead of Mayhem. She's got her own backstory, which is not relevant to cosplay, but very interesting in the game. But we're gonna go to someone who's really fun.
wow.
Like, you have a lot of fun with her cloth in this.
Yes.
This is
yes.
Rama. She's an Indian immunologist who uses a tech bow to fire off poison and plague arrows. So one of the things she does is there's a plague in Dubai in the game, and she's an immunologist trying to find the cure for it. But she also uses the plague as a weapon and fires it on her arrows. That's her ultimate ability, or her mayhem ability. And then once you kill someone that you infect with the plague, it spreads to the enemies around them. So a
That's
really cool gameplay mechanic that uses her backstory. But yeah, the cloth in itself, you can't really tell in this picture, but there's a lot of metallic elements to it. The yellows, those are gold and really cool intricacies built into the actual fabric.
And you can purchase that fabric too for someone who's just like, oh my god, I don't want to do that. But you can also paint it. I mean, not like puff paint. Like, you can actually like make the design. You can actually also make a stamp too, and that's what I've done in the past. Whenever I've had to do patterns, is you make like a stamp, and you can make it out of like clays, things like that, and then let it dry, and then you just go ahead and put it in your paint. Like, they have really cool metallic paints now that you can use, and then just press it on over and over. And
It'll be consistent that way.
exactly, yeah, and that's been like my little shortcut that I've used for issues like that. Because there's another character in here that also has patterns too, and that's what I was thinking for her, to keep the same consistency of fabrics, because I feel like that's definitely like one of the things is like you see this and you're like, oh, it's a silky fabric. I'm a nerd when it comes to fabrics, like. But yeah, that's what I felt for her. So I thought that would be a really cool little cheat to do it that way, or you can be absolutely insane and just go through like a orange fabric and then go through and actually sew it. You can be a madman and do that.
Cool. So we're running out of time. So I'm gonna quickly just go over and showcase the rest of the agents. If you guys have any questions or you're interested in cosplaying any of them, they have their social information. Feel free to reach out to them. Angelica took all these notes and how she would plan to do it. So I'm offering up you
I
to.
got way too excited.
Yeah. But yeah. So. Red Card is our German football hooligan. Yes. Pierce Washington is Kingpin in this, is brought back from the Saints Row series as the lieutenant from the boss. Scheherazade is the Persian ninja, Iranian ninja. And then Yeti, who is Oleg from previous Saints Row, is our Russian winter experiment.
And for that one, you just have to get really, really buff.
Yep.
Yep. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you found it super interesting because the characters really are.
Yes.
But thank you so much to Angelica and Wes for joining us today. Please follow them on the Instagram, the Twitters, and the Facebooks. But until then, August 15th is when Agents of Mayhem comes out. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you so much.
Check it out.